Okay, so today we are going to be looking at the action engine in a bit more detail, and we've got Charlotte with us. So thanks heaps for your time, Charlotte. Do you want to just give us a bit of an intro on who you are, what you do at Deep Space, what where you've come from? Go for it.
So hello, first of all. I'm the developer here at Deep Space. I've been here since about early this year. I come from a background in mathematics at QUT, and before this, I worked as a data analyst at a mining firm, I guess you'd call it. But yeah, so as a developer here, I work a lot on all our dashboards, also a lot of automations, both internal and external, like this actions engine we'll get to. And yeah, it's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, awesome. So we are going to be talking about this new action engine, and you've played a real pivotal part in the development of it and the rolling out and kind of how it all works. So it's going to be awesome to just get you down for 5 minutes, and we could just really thrash out what does this thing actually do? What does it mean for Deep Space, and how does it impact the users? So I want to just introduce this. Deep Space has always been about actions. It's always been about how do we get from data to insight, and then from insight to action. And the philosophy behind that is we want to do something with the information that's in front of us. And so in the past, that has meant, okay, I've got a whole pile of data here, but I want to visualize it in a way that's going to tell me something that I wouldn't get from, say, looking at a spreadsheet. So I've got a lot of different visuals and different analytics. Maybe it's predictive analytics of how my data is going to be arriving at the project on this project, or what it means, when we get out on site. So that's, I guess, the premise of these actions, but you've taken it further. You've taken the steps that require me to be doing stuff. So can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, so obviously at Deep Space, we already have this huge data collection and storage platform with a lot of historical data. We've got our apps which do all this analytics. But at the end of the day, you're only extracting value from the data if you physically log in and look at something. And then when you're looking at it, you have to use your brain, think what needs to be done from this? What is the action to take? So this actions engine is automating that part of it. So essentially, as a person responsible for the dashboards or whatever, instead of having to go into it, instead, we've got these automations in the background that go, okay, you're looking at model audit. We know all the things that need to be addressed in model audit. Instead of having you log in and go see it, we are going to collate it into a list and send it directly to you. And so it's eliminating the need to go and manually check the dashboard, meaning that it's guaranteed the data insights will be seen, essentially.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that means, a lot of the BIM, we're democratizing a lot of it because we're actually empowering users to, use a tool like Deep Space, and it's actually now going to start to do the work of what a BIM manager might be helping you out with. You're obviously going to need those still on a project, but this is going to take a few steps for you.
Exactly. Like, you can't ignore the insights anymore. You actually have more time to address the problems rather than going to find them in the first place. We'll just send them to you.
Yeah. There's often like lag happens in projects when it's like, oh, okay, I've got to log in, I've got to find out this is what the data is telling me. But now I've got to chase it up. Now I've got to start firing off emails. I've got to follow people up. Have you done the thing? Maybe they've only addressed, part of what they're supposed to, and then it's not completely resolved. And that's going to sit there for weeks. And so now that's going to actually start doing all of that for me. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, as part of it, we're not just emailing one person. We're emailing everybody who the piece of data applies to. So for example, in the architecture discipline, everybody in that will be notified about the problems in the architecture models. And it means that we're eliminating the emailing out step. So already everyone who's responsible knows what needs to be done. And then every week, whenever the data is updated, we're also checking the progress of that. So you can literally tell if it has been addressed, if it hasn't been, to then prompt further follow-ups within the organization. Essentially, it's assuring things get done. We're tracking it. There's full accountability there. Yeah, so before actions, essentially the workflow was, obviously we already do these insights automatically, but the little pink circle shows someone still had to go into the app, internally identify the problem, make a task, let everybody know, then go and fix it. And then additionally, also then go check it's been fixed. There's all these steps. And like you said, the lag on a project to do all these steps and actually confirm things have been done. With this actions engine though, we're automating a lot of those manual tasks. Yeah, so you can see instead of having to go identify the problem, we've done that for you. We've let everybody know about it. It means you have a lot more time to actually go and address the issue, and then we'll also let you know when it's fixed.
Yeah, so this is really addressing, like, one of the things on projects is time is, we can't really do anything about time. Like, a project has been promised, it's going to be delivered on this date. What happens between now and then often gets, goes into the mix a bit, but we can't really do anything. We're pouring concrete on that day. So if we're able to save the time in between, because we can't push that date out, if anything, we want to be able to pull it forward. So this is going to be able to just save a lot of time for people on projects.
Exactly.
I really like this analogy of maybe if I'm in a car, I've got my dashboard in front of me, and the dashboard's telling me something like my fuel is running low. So what I want in the future is, but see, the current, like, the status quo now is I've got to remind myself on the way home from work today, I've got to pull into the petrol station and fill up, and the car has correctly told me the current status of where we're at. I now need to take action on it. So that's what I used to do in the past. And now with this action engine, in a way, what we're trying to say is, whilst I'm at work, I want the car to go off and fill itself up and then come back to the workplace, pick me up at the end of the day. And that's the way of the future, right? Where the car, or the engine, the action engine, is going to start doing more and more of these tasks for me, not just tell me about them.
Yeah, like, we've got all the data. There's no reason we can't just eliminate that manual input, do it all for you.
Okay, so Charlotte, just talk about, so we're collecting the data. Deep Space has got, I guess, are these rules? Like, how does it follow? How does it pick up on some of this stuff?
Yeah, so in the case of model audit, for example, as it's one of the more popular ones, we have all these predefined rules of the things that have gone wrong. We already know you've got this many levels out of whack, this many clashes. But to go and see that, originally you had to go into the dashboard and look at that number, make a task. But instead, we've got these rules where whenever your data is refreshed, we then go and check that, collate all the little tasks. We know levels is something that needs fixing. Let's just tell you directly, rather than you having to go check that for yourself. And then on top of that, whenever the data is refreshed, we just continually run the same thing essentially. And that's how we'll know when the level's fixed. If they get worse, perhaps, that's something you also need to know. Yeah.
So I can see it's, so we've already talked about this, it's going to save us time. What else is it going to do for our projects?
So as well as saving time, it also kind of reduces errors. Like I said earlier, data is only useful if you're actually using it, taking action from those insights. Technically, you could have these analytics, but if you never fix the levels, fix these things, nothing's ever happening. But by introducing the actions engine and it directly telling you, it's introducing accountability, it's telling all the people on the problem, there's a lot higher chance that things are going to get fixed and done, which means you essentially have better quality models.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. And I like this. The word you used was accountability. This is going to have a real impact on, I guess, the way we collaborate on projects. These construction projects are always a team effort. There's multiple stakeholders. There's lots of project participants. This is only going to mean a better project outcomes, because like you said, the actions engine is going to email people. It's going to notify people of their specific problems that they've got to deal with without all the noise. But this is going to have a real impact on just project and sort of stakeholder engagement with the project, right?
Yeah, exactly. By like letting the people know about the issues, they're more likely to go into the app and see them. It's kind of, the engine is acting as a liaison between all these people, so they can see what matters to them. But then overall, it's a better end result.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got time. We're saving lots of time on the project. We've got accountability. We've got better user engagement, or better project participants involved in the project. I guess the data integrity, we've also talked about that. So the data integrity is going to sort of increase on the project. Is there anything else that this is going to do for us?
Yeah, so with this actions engine, obviously it's doing these things every single week. We're keeping track of everything in a database. So it also introduces an entire audit trail, both an audit trail of the issues, how long they last, when they're getting fixed, but also who's being notified about them. So it's kind of two pieces here. So again, it draws back to accountability. You know exactly who and when on the project was told about these things, when and if they were fixed. So it's that complete audit trail of everything that's going on.
Well, just I guess if you got another couple of minutes, maybe you could show us around it working on a project.
Yep. Yeah, so this is one of our sample projects here of what the actions engine dashboard looks like. So there's two parts to this. It's both the email notifications, but then there's central dashboard, which collates all your actions. So you can see here, these are all the things we've automatically detected, let people know about, broken down by discipline, so the number of non-compliant files and everything. But the real value in it is, I think, this audit trail I was talking about, which you can see here in the notification log. And we have here a list of every single email sent out, who it was sent to, and you can see exactly what was notified on that day.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So this seems pretty easy. We could just log in and we could see, and there's that transparency across the team. We can see where other files are at and how other teams are getting notified of certain things. And what's the action library there?
Yeah, so action library, we're calling it, is essentially the list we have of all the current action definitions we've defined. So these are all the things we're checking every single time you update your data. So a lot of model audit tasks. And we're continually adding to this, adding new actions, things to check, things to notify you about what matters on your project. And you're able to toggle them. Obviously, every project has different needs, so you're not bogged up with things that don't matter to you.
Sure. Okay, so that's going to be pretty exciting. Into the future, we're just going to keep rolling out these new rules or new actions in the library, and people will be able to just use them as they come on board. All right. Awesome, Charlotte. Thank you so much for your time. And it's a really cool little walkthrough of the actions engine. Great work. And yeah, really excited to see where this goes in the future.